Servus und willkommen zurück. Wir sind immer noch in der Forgotten City. Ich habe immer noch ein bisschen Schnupfen und ein neuer Tag ist angebrochen. Dann wollen wir mal den Galerius losschicken. Der ist zur Dekoration. Ich bin Unas und ich möchte, dass sie ein paar dringende Angelegenheiten für mich regelt. Also, Julia liegt im Sterben, aber Lucretia kann ihr ohne dieses Silphium nicht helfen. Nehmt etwas davon und geht schnell. Yeah. Gut so. Rufius ist durch seinen Räume aufgewühlt, aber wenn ihr ihm etwas von dieser Weidenrinde gebt, wird ihn das beruhigen. Sehr gut. Ihr müsst Fabia davon abhalten, den leeren Schrein zu betreten und den Neuankömmling sagen, dass er dort finden wird, wonach er sucht. Richtig. Genau. Sehr gut. Weg geht Triton. Ja, aber jetzt ab dafür. Sehr schön. Okay, wie gesagt, mein Plan für heute wäre, dass wir zum Malleolus gehen und dem mal ein paar Fragen stellen. Yep. Ich würde sagen, wir sehen uns dann, wenn ich tatsächlich drin bin bei ihm. Bis gleich. Okay, da sind wir zurück. Eine Erkenntnis, die ich gerade hatte, als ich oben war. Die 2000 Denare, die verschwinden aus dem Inventar, was ja auch Sinn macht. Deswegen muss man die jedes Mal wieder sammeln. Ja. And now, I make this solemn promise to you, good citizens. Under my leadership, you will finally enjoy the freedom you deserve. And yes, no more shall you walk on, Mach Hinnebub.
Yes. No more.
So, jetzt.
Did you just leap into my villa from the balcony 100 feet
Richtig.
That was either extremely reckless or impressively clever.
Ich würde sagen beides.
Why have you risked life and limb to see me?
Das würde ich mir aufheben für den Schluss. Packen wir erstmal Quinctius.
My name is Marcus Malleolus Gurgius. You seem to have confused me with someone else.
Stimmt. Das war auch eine sehr unschuldige Reaktion gerade. Ihr habt ein grünes und ein blaues Auge, genau wie in der Beschreibung in diesem Hinrichtungsbefehl von Kaiser Nero.
You mean my heterochromia? I am guilty of nothing more than having different colored eyes. And I'm hardly the only person with the condition. Alexander the Great had it too, as it happens. I like to think it is simply the way the gods have chosen to mark a natural-born ruler. Nothing more.
Offenbar leidet Quinctius auch an Größenwahn.
Well, I am not suffering from any delusions, as today's election will firmly establish.
Ich kann nicht... Na... Gut, wenn ich es nicht beweisen kann, sollte ich nicht weiter bedrohen, dann lasse ich es einfach mal. Mein Fehler, vergesst das bitte.
That's quite all right. We all make mistakes.
Für jetzt. Ich komme drauf zurück. Gut, da wird er nicht drauf reagieren. Ich möchte, dass ihr von der Wahl zurücktretet.
Are you insane? You barge into my villa uninvited and then make outrageous demands? Why would I withdraw from an election I'm bound to win?
Das würde ich beim nächsten Mal machen. Erstmal versuchen wir es so. Wobei, warum sollt ihr mir glauben? Ja, außer er lässt mich weiter ausführen, wenn ich dann sage, hey, das Duell ist uncool. Ja, schauen wir einfach mal. Denn sobald ihr gewinnt, berechtigt die goldene Regel.
Don't talk nonsense. There's no such thing as the golden rule.
Stimmt, hatte ich vergessen. Glaubt nicht dran. Ihr werdet Sentius wegen Verrats verhaften und ihn zum Tode durch Gladiatorenkampf verurteilen.
How could you possibly know that?
Wenn ich sage, dass Domitius es mir erzählt hat, sorgt das eventuell dafür, dass er mit dem in Clinch gerät und der den Kampf nicht bestreiten darf? Schwierig. Versuchen wir's.
Nonsense! This is nonsense! I don't know how you know about my plans, but I'm absolutely sure Sentius is involved somehow. And now, I'm going to enjoy watching Domitius kill him even more. Now, get out of here! You outstayed your very limited welcome.
Blöd. Reden wir nochmal mit dem Domitius.
What now?
Stimmt, das hat mich interessiert, was da rauskommt. Ich muss mit Julia sprechen.
She's not here.
Wo ist sie?
Had to carry her to Lucretia's clinic this morning. Shrine of Apollo. She was acting sick. Faking it, if you ask me. Typical.
Okay. Seid ihr die Person, die Vergil bedroht?
Do I seem like anonymous threats are my style?
Stimmt auch wieder. Ich weiß, dass ihr es wart.
You don't know Sturkus.
Ah, wieder ein lateinisches Wort gelernt. Das glaube ich, das kann ich mir herleiten. Wisst ihr etwas über das Verschwinden von Scintilla?
Listen, I don't abduct women. They come to me. And they keep coming back. If you know what I mean.
Ich meine, unser Ziel haben wir für diese Runde eh verfehlt, also können wir auch gleich all in gehen. Ich glaube, ihr verheimlicht was.
You don't know Sturkus.
Gut, das ist...
Malleolus, of course. If old man Sentius can't even protect his own daughter, how can we trust him to protect us?
Okay, das haben wir jetzt schon öfter gehört. Das heißt, sobald wir Scintilla finden, haben wir auf jeden Fall ein paar Stimmen gefunden, gewonnen.
Just remember, I'll be watching.
Okay, alternativ würde ich mich dann jetzt um Vergil kümmern und die Leute mit Rüstungen befragen. Das heißt... geht so. Ich glaube zwar nicht, dass es Horatius war, trotzdem befrage ich ihn einfach mal. Seid ihr die Person, die Vergil bedroht?
Absolutely not. I know someone's been threatening him, and I'm not happy about it. But I can assure you, it isn't me.
Ich weiß, dass ihr es wart.
You know nothing. Alright?
Gut. Ja, wie gesagt, ich habe nicht damit gerechnet, dass er es ist. Aber jetzt haben wir 2 von 3 ausgeschlossen. Ja, ich suche schon noch nach dir. Jetzt gehen wir erstmal zum Rufius. Ich hoffe, der ist zu der Zeit auch... Das hat mich auch schon immer gewundert, wie man hier reinkommt, aber vielleicht kriegen wir noch irgendwas, dass man die Leute in Gold zurückverwandelt. Aber jetzt erstmal zu Rufius.
Salve again, friend. I went and did as you asked, and it worked. How is it possible that you've just arrived here and you already know everyone and exactly what's about to happen to them? You're toying with me, right? Wait, you're not kidding, are you? That's the only way you could have known. You're a bit like... Oh, what was his name? Sisyphus. Yeah, that's the one. Old King Sisyphus.
Wie Sisyphus? Inwiefern?
Sisyphus was a Greek king a long time ago. For daring to think he could outsmart the gods, he was given a terrible punishment. He was forced to push a great boulder up to the top of a hill. Only, just as it reached the top, it would roll all the way back down to the bottom, forcing him to start over and over and over again for all eternity. Just like you. Actually, now that I think about it, there are a bunch of old stories about the gods punishing people by making them do the same futile task over and over. Tantalus was made to grasp at fruit on a tree he could never quite reach. The Pleiades had to keep fetching water in a sieve. Oh, and Ixion was strapped to a wheel going round and round forever. But on the bright side, at least you're not stuck in the underworld like they all were. Anyway, I don't know which god you managed to upset to get yourself into this position, friend, but you seem all right to me. So, I'll tell you what. I'll keep doing whatever I can to help you. And you just focus on finding a way to break the cycle you're in.
Danke, Galerius.
Anytime, friend. Now, I'm going to keep your secret. Although, it's not as if I'll remember this next time we talk anyway, right? Oh, and if our conversations ever start to annoy you, just tell me you're busy. I know when I'm not wanted. May fortune smile on you, friend.
Gut zu wissen. Okay, ich suche mal weiter. Das war gerade nur ein kleines Intermezzo. Da haben wir ihn. Okay. Hallo.
Name's Rufius. Better watch your step.
Seid ihr die Person, die Vergil bedroht? Ich meine, das ist der einzige, der jetzt noch übrig bleibt.
No idea what you're talking about?
Klingt gar nicht verdächtig. Ich weiß, dass ihr es wart.
Yeah? Prove it.
Okay, also wir wissen auf jeden Fall, dass es Rufius war. Jetzt brauchen wir nur noch Beweise dafür. Was macht Rufius nochmal? Verzeichnis. Rufius, Bürger, Lichtpatrouille. Nicht hilfreich. Okay, also, ich bin jetzt wieder ins Elendsviertel runter und habe die Wohnung von Rufius gesucht. Und da schauen wir jetzt mal, ob wir hier einen Beweis finden. Ne, nur Binare. Das ist nicht hilfreich. Steinscheibe untersuchen. Eine runde Steinscheibe, in die das Symbol eines Fisches eingemeißelt ist. Sie sieht aus, als könnte sie religiöser Natur sein. Ja, dass er Christus wissen wir ja schon. Steingravur. Ein phallischer Talisman, dem die Römer göttliche schützende Eigenschaften zusprachen. Gut, okay. Jeder wie er mag. Ansonsten haben wir hier aber... Oh! Unvollständige Nachricht. Dies ist eure letzte Warnung, Sünder. Ah! Sünder stand auch an der Hauswand. Sehr schön. Mitnehmen können wir es nicht. Dann zurück zu Rufius. Okay, jetzt haben wir ihn gefunden. Der ist ein bisschen weiter gewandert in der Zwischenzeit.
Citizen.
Hallo.
You again.
Seid ihr die Person, die Vergil bedroht? Ich weiß, dass ihr es wart. Ich habe einen unfertigen Brief an ihn in eurer Unterkunft gefunden.
Look, I haven't been at my best lately. I know that. It's the rheumatism. It starts with constant pain in all your joints. And the pain starts to mess with your head. Makes you angry. I know that's not an excuse for how I acted. But it's the truth. But with the willow bark, I'm already starting to feel like myself again. I'll leave him alone from now on. It's not as if I was ever going to hurt him anyway. I was just lashing out. I'm not going to go and clean up the graffiti. Just forget this ever happened. Will you?
Nun gut, kein Problem. Ich meine, er hat recht, das entschuldigt nichts. Auch Miträumer, aber zumindest hört er jetzt auf, als das Ergebnis zählt in dem Fall. So, Vergil.
Welcome back.
Macht euch keine Sorgen wegen der Drohungen. Das ist nur Rufius und er wird euch nie etwas antun.
What demon or spirit told you about that?
Ich habe eine unvollständige Nachricht in seinem Haus gefunden.
You went snooping in his place? That was risky. We're lucky you didn't cross any lines. Have you spoken to him about it?
Mhm. Ja, und er wird euch nicht mehr belästigen.
Really? How did you manage that?
Ich habe ein Mittel gegen seinen Rheumatismus gefunden, der ihn ganz unruhig machte und einige andere private Angelegenheiten verschlimmerte.
Ah, poor fellow. I've heard that can really mess with a person's head. Well done for figuring that out.
Ich helfe gern. Ich glaube, er will auch dabei helfen, seinen Graffiti zu beseitigen.
Really? That's promising. I'll keep an eye out for him.
Sehr gut.
Nice to talk to you.
Sehr schön. Wieder eine Sache erledigt. Und ich denke, das können wir auch automatisieren, weil dafür braucht man ja keine Consumables, die wir irgendwie jedes Mal aufwenden müssen. Die Frage ist, was machen wir jetzt? Mit der Priesterin haben wir ja eh noch ein Business. Ja, dann machen wir das als nächstes.
All weapons are to be tossed into
Hello.
the chasm. Magistrate's orders.
Are they? And may Vesta watch over you. I'm Equitia. To what do I owe the pleasure of this visit?
Ich habe Leute danach befragt, wie sie hier gelandet sind und versucht, ein Muster zu finden.
Interesting. I'm not sure why you're telling me, but you've come to the right person. Did you find a pattern then? What have you noticed?
Ich bin mir gerade nicht sicher, ob ich alles nochmal erzählen muss. Das mache ich jetzt einfach schnell mal. Manche sprachen von einer Münze.
Yes, I suppose that could be something. But then most of us do tend to carry coins on our person, don't we? What else?
Das spricht auch für meine Charon-Theorie, weil da kriegt man ja auch Münzen auf die Augen gelegt als Wegzoll. Manche sprachen von einem Fluss.
Yes, I understand many of our friends were carried here by a river current. What else?
Einige Leute haben Gedächtnislücken erwähnt. Ah, wie heißt der andere Fluss? Nicht Styx, sondern... Fällt mir gerade nicht ein. Ah, ich erkenne die Ironie. Wenn man in den anderen Fluss reinfällt, kriegt man Gedächtnislücken. Ich glaube, das war nicht der Styx.
That's true. I know I wasn't entirely sure how I wound up here. It's as I feared. I think I understand what poor Livia has been going through. Let me ask you this. Did you happen to encounter a stranger in the forest before you arrived here?
Yep. Ja, das habe ich. Eine junge Frau.
And did you happen to catch her name?
Karen.
I see. And was this Karen by any chance wearing a hood?
Sie hat einen Kapuzenpullover getragen. Woher wisst ihr
I've
das?
seen her before. There's something I think you should see. I think you'd better follow me to the baths.
Gut. In Ordnung, wir treffen uns in den Bädern.
Don't follow too closely. We can't have people thinking we're bathing together.
Okay. Und der Fremde müsste jetzt ja auch schon weg sein. Das heißt, wir sollten keine Probleme haben. Ich weiß jetzt nicht genau, wie viel Abstand ich halten muss. Okay.
All right, you're here. You were asking how I knew the young woman you met by the river was wearing a hood. Here, look down at the bottom of the baths. It's a little hard to make out in this light. If only we could see. Oh, what a marvelous lamp. But do you see it? Somebody waking up by a river in a forest to find a hooded figure with a coin. It's just as you described it, only your pronunciation is a little off. The name you heard wasn't Karen. It was C-H-A-R-O-N, as in Charon, the ferryman of the dead. Charon, who, in exchange for the right coin, helps the souls of the newly deceased cross the Styx, the river that separates the land of the living from the land of the dead.
When I dragged you out of the river, I thought you were never gonna wake up. I checked your pockets for ID, but all I found was some loose change. Feels like I've spent my whole life in a dead-end job with an endless commute. Sorry if I sounded cagey, it's just that I don't always get the best reactions when I introduce myself. My name's Karen.
There are a bunch of old stories about the gods punishing people by making them do the same futile task over and over. But on the bright side, at least you're not stuck in the underworld like they all were.
I'm so sorry, my friend. I'm so sorry. I take it you know what this means.
Das bedeutet rein logisch, dass ihr alle tot seid und ich nur zufällig hier bin, weil wieder hier raus bin. Ganz sicher. Dies ist die Unterwelt?
I'm afraid so. It's all starting to make sense. All these people whose last memory was running from the fires toward the river. It seems none of them escaped with their lives after all. Perhaps we should be grateful they don't remember their final moments.
Yep.
It also tells us that the Golden Rule is the work of Pluto, the god of the underworld, and why his epithet has always been Father of Riches. I know it's a lot to take in, and you look as if you have questions, so I'll try to answer them if I can.
Okay. Also sind wir tot?
That was my first thought too. In the old stories, the underworld was where the souls of the deceased were taken. But it was also possible for the living to reach it without dying, if they were particularly fearless. So I'm afraid I don't know.
Was könnt ihr mir über Charon erzählen?
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting you're not from here. If you were Roman, or even Greek, you would know these stories. Each of them is slightly different, whether the storyteller was Plato, Homer, Virgil, or Ovid. But they always involved the souls of the dead meeting a grim ferryman named Charon on the bank of a river. It was said that he'd help the new arrival cross, only if they could pay him with a coin, an obol. That's why it was once our custom to bury our loved ones with a coin in their mouths. Charon's obol, we called it. Of course, an obol was a kind of Greek coin, because we inherited this knowledge from the Greeks.
Warum habt ihr alle Charon nicht gleich erkannt?
To be fair, the ferryman isn't exactly as the poets described, and he, she, they seem to appear to different people in different guises. You say you saw a young woman named Karen with a hood, and I once heard Kabash mention a stranger in a ram headdress named Kerti, and Rufius described meeting a stranger named Kumut Tabal wearing an eagle headdress. But whatever form this stranger took, they were always wearing a hood of some sort, and their name always began with a K sound. I suspect the only way you'll solve this riddle is if your paths cross again.
Warum gibt es so wenig Menschen in der Unterwelt?
Good question. Let's see. In the stories, Charon would always require a coin as payment for passage across the river. But that never made any sense to me. What does an ancient immortal being need with coins? In our case, it seems Charon didn't take the coins we had. He or she merely checked we had one in our possession. So, maybe there's something special about the coins each of us had on us. That might explain why we wound up here, but so many others did not.
Wolltet ihr das von mir verheimlichen? Glaube ich jetzt ehrlich gesagt nicht. Wenn hätte sie das ja dann machen sollen. Also, wir haben sie ja direkt darauf angesprochen.
No. I mean, I had my suspicions, especially after Livia's ramblings, but I would never have figured it out without your help. I promise you.
Ja, stimmt. Also, ich habe eigentlich keine Zweifel bei ihr.
Now that we know where we are, we have to figure out what to do about it, if we don't want to be cast into gold for eternity. We don't have much to go on, except the old stories. I remember 4 in particular about heroes in the underworld. Hercules, the demigod and son of Jupiter. Orpheus, a Thracian poet. Sisyphus, a king of Ephyra. And Aeneas, a Trojan hero. Hercules was able to leave the underworld because he cowed its god with his strength. Sisyphus and Orpheus both relied on their wits instead. They persuaded the goddess of the underworld, Proserpina, to help them escape. And finally, Aeneas was able to escape with the help of a spirit guide, who led him through a secret gate. So it seems you have two options: to confront the god of the underworld head-on, or find a way to escape with the help of Proserpina or some other guide.
Wenn wir nicht einfach auf dem gleichen Weg entkommen, wie wir auch hergekommen sind. Da wurde uns ja schon mal gesagt, es wurde schon versucht, eine Leiter zu bauen, aber das hat nicht funktioniert.
It's a reasonable question, but the problem is, this place is fairly well designed to keep us here. There's no way to climb up the shaft. And even if you could build a ladder big enough, just trying it would break the golden rule. We know that, thanks to the writings left behind by those who've tried.
Ja. Mir ist aufgefallen, dass ihr es vermeidet, den Gott der Unterwelt beim Namen zu nennen. Warum?
All Romans try to avoid saying it, and the reason is quite simple. He might hear us. You may refer to him as Pluto, if you wish, but you'll only be calling attention to yourself. Do so at your own peril.
Okay. Verratet mir mehr über die Flucht mit der Hilfe von Proserpina oder einem Begleiter.
As I mentioned, both Orpheus and Sisyphus were said to have persuaded Proserpina to help them escape, and Aeneas was guided to the exit. The problem is, those are the stories of a poet, a self-aggrandizing king, and a brawler about their own heroic deeds, so they should be taken with a grain of salt. First, Proserpina. What we do know about her is, well, it's a grim tale. It's said the god of the underworld abducted and dragged her here against her will, forcing her into marriage.
Also ist sie vielleicht bereit, gegen ihn zu arbeiten, um uns zu helfen?
If the stories are true, then I suppose so. The problem is, how do we communicate with her without being noticed by her captor? Leaving that aside for a moment, there is also the possibility of a spirit guide. I don't suppose you've come across one of those in your travels?
Hin und wieder höre ich, wie die weiblichen Statuen mir etwas zuflüstern.
Truly? And you're only bringing this up now? Then again, I suppose you were worried I'd think you were as mad as Navia.
Ja, richtig.
Can you tell me more? Is it the same voice? What kinds of thing does it say?
Es ist stets dieselbe Stimme. Sie ist hilfreich, wenn auch etwas kryptisch.
Fascinating. Perhaps she is a benevolent spirit. Or perhaps... Perhaps you're hearing the voice of Proserpina herself. If she has indeed been abducted, it would make sense for her to speak in cryptic whispers to avoid detection. Tell me, has she told you anything that might lead you to the way out?
Vielleicht. Sie sagte, wartet gegen die Strömung und ihre Tränen fließen durch die Stadt und sie weint, wo das Wasser fließt.
That is strange. There are no rivers here. Let me think on that.
Ist nicht ein Wasserfall? Ich hatte wirklich gehofft, dass ihr mir sagen könntet, was das zu bedeuten hat.
As far as I can tell, water flows into the city from an aqueduct into one of two cisterns, the upper cistern. If that's the current she's talking about, then perhaps you need to get into the upper cistern somehow. I vaguely recall wondering what was in there, but the door at the back of the great temple is locked up tight. You might be able to get a key from the magistrate, but if that doesn't work, perhaps you can find another way in. Let me know if you find anything in there.
Erzählt mir etwas über die direkte Konfrontation mit Pluto.
Is everyone so blunt where you're from? Oh. That option would be the boldest, but also the only way to learn the truth about the Golden Rule, and maybe even put an end to it. As I said, Hercules managed to overpower the god of the underworld, but he was a demigod. Forgive my candor, but you are no Hercules.
Tja. Ja, Herkules konnte weder die Zeit manipulieren, noch organische Materie in Gold verwandeln.
Are you telling me that you can?
Ich will ja nicht angeben, aber ja.
Exactly what that means. But if that's true, then perhaps you stand a chance. So, if you want to confront him, I'll help you as much as I can. Who knows? Perhaps your name will be uttered in the same sentence as Hercules one day. But first, you'd need an audience with you-know-who. And for
Voldemort?
that, you'll need to enter the great temple overlooking the city. The problem is, the door has been sealed shut for as long as I've lived here, and there doesn't even seem to be a keyhole. I suspect the answer lies in the desecrated obelisk in front of it. I'm not sure if you noticed, but there are 4 plaques missing from its base. It looks as though somebody, or a series of somebodies, forcibly removed them, and in doing so, dishonored and angered our divine keeper. If you could recover and replace all 4 of those missing plaques, I imagine he might be willing to receive an audience again.
Was könnt ihr mir über den Obelisken erzählen?
It's a towering stone monument with 4 sides and a pyramid-shaped head that stands before the great temple, a dedication to the god of this place. You'll find them all over Rome, but of course they were looted from Egypt many years ago. It seems one of them made its way here too, although how is a mystery. However, this one is unusual in that each of the 4 sides is decorated in a different style: Roman, Greek, Egyptian, and another I don't recognize.
Okay.
That means you'll need to recover 4 different plaques: Roman, Greek, Egyptian, and a 4th, a mystery plaque.
Mhm. Wo kann ich die römische Tafel finden?
Question. To answer that, we first need to ask who would have defaced the obelisk in the first place. It would have had the god's name engraved into it, so it may be that whoever desecrated it wanted that name to be forgotten. And there's only one group of people I know of who might want to do that. There's a cult in Rome that often argued there is only one true god. Theirs, of course. They've been known to start fires, as well as deface religious monuments whose existence challenged their beliefs. If I were you, I'd go looking for them. Of course, they've all been in hiding since the fire last year, so finding them won't be easy.
Ich kenne schon ein paar.
I did hear a rumor they have a secret shrine somewhere in the city. Perhaps, if you could find that, you might be able to recover the Roman plaque.
Okay. Wo kann ich die griechische Tafel finden?
I don't know. But perhaps you should begin your search with the local Greek fellow, Georgius.
Georgius.
His store is in the forum.
Ach, das war der Kleiderhändler, glaube ich. Wo kann ich diese ägyptische Tafel finden?
Perhaps Kabash, our Egyptian resident, would be able to tell us. Unfortunately, he disappeared weeks ago. But I did hear Aurelia is peddling rumors about him at the tavern, so perhaps you could talk to her, or just take a look in his room.
Im Zweifelsfall beides. Wo kann ich diese rätselhafte Tafel
I'm
finden?
afraid you're on your own with that one, but perhaps the goddess will help guide you to it when the time is right.
Lasst uns über etwas anderes reden. Bis dann.
Right. I would suggest not discussing this with anyone. The best we can do for them is to let them remain oblivious for as long as
Sehe ich genauso.
As for Livia, it seems she's been shouldering the weight of this terrible secret all this time. Perhaps it would comfort her to know she's not alone.
Ja. Ich werde mich zuerst mit Livia unterhalten.
In any case, time is of the essence, so you'd best begin. May Fortuna guide you. Although you may not need her with Proserpina on your side.
Ja. Nee, wenn Livia weiß, dass sie nicht alleine ist, dann hat sie ja vielleicht auch noch Infos. Oh. Da habe ich mich wohl am Feuer verbrannt. Ja, wir sehen uns gleich, wenn ich bei Livia bin. So, da sind wir. Hallo, Livia.
Just as the ocean accepts the rivers of all the world, so this place accepts all the souls. But it does not notice the crowds that come.
Ich habe es herausgefunden. Ich weiß jetzt, wo wir sind.
Say it. Speak its name.
Die Unterwelt.
Then it is true. I was right.
Das war dir.
I thought I saw it, but when the rest of them could not, I kept thinking I must have gone insane. I had to tell myself it was true over and over again, until I wasn't sure if I was deceiving myself. I must apologize if my words seem cryptic. I'd found comfort in reciting the Metamorphoses by our great poet Ovid. He gives such an uncanny description of this place. I cannot help but wonder if he himself came here. Would you like to hear it?
Klar.
I will do my best to remember the relevant verse. There is a downward path, gloomy with fatal yew trees. It leads through dumb silence to the infernal regions. The sluggish Styx exhales vapor, and by that way, the shadows of the newly dead descend, entombed with full rites, and the ghosts of those, at last, given proper burial. The wide, thorny waste is cold and pallid, and the newly arrived shades are ignorant of the road that leads to the Stygian city, where Black Dis has his cruel palace. As the ocean accepts the rivers of all the world, so this place accepts all the souls, and is never too small for any populace, nor notices the crowds that come. There the bloodless shadows wander without flesh or bone. Some crowd the forum, some the house of the ruler of the depths. Others follow their trades, imitating their previous lives. And still others incur punishment. I hope I have done it justice, and now we share a secret. It's as if you've lifted a great burden from my shoulders. Thank you, friend. I think I should rest.
Okay, damit haben wir Livia geholfen. Ich würde es für heute dabei belassen. Ich glaube, wir haben einiges geschafft. Und beim nächsten Mal würde ich tatsächlich versuchen, in die Zisterne zu kommen. Da haben wir jetzt schon 2 Spuren, die hinführen. Genau. Aber das sehen wir dann beim nächsten Mal. Bis dann. Servus.